It's time to take off your clothes, enjoy clothes-free living, and join us for Naked, Nudists, and Naturists.
Welcome to Naked, Nudists, and Naturists, the show that celebrates clothes-free living for all. I'm your host, Frank Stone.
And I'm your correspondent, Lisa Monroe, and I'll be reporting on all things within the naturist community. So it's time to get naked and join us.
And enjoy clothes-free living on Naked, Nudists, and Naturists. Well, greetings and welcome in to Naked, Nudists, and Naturists, episode 188 today. Glad that you're with us for this Lisa Frank Wednesday extravaganza. Believe it or not, our 40th straight Wednesday coming at you since we started on Wednesday, July 30th of 2025. We haven't missed a Wednesday since, and that includes Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, and even the day before the American Thanksgiving. Every single Wednesday, and today marks the 40th straight Wednesday, 188 overall, and we're just glad that you're with us on this Wednesday afternoon, ready to enjoy clothes-free living for all of the right reasons. So come on in. The pool feels like $1 million. The hot tub is going full blast. The grill is going full bore. And guess who our grill master is today? None other than Christopher Michelli, also known as Mudwalker. He flew in last night to get all the supplies ready, and he is out there moving and grooving with that grill, getting ready, and we can't wait to enjoy and partake in all that he has provided after the show is over today. Christopher Michelli / Mudwalker is also in the Tim Chizmar movie, Naked as Created. He plays the part of Pastor Jim Moore, so don't forget to check that movie out. We have fruits and vegetables off to the right, cold drinks off to the left, hot drinks inside, including the espresso machine, as donated by a listener. If you leave the screened-in pool area and go out the left side door, there's a hammock waiting for you, also donated by a listener. A reading library, a naturist fiction library, donated by a listener. We have in the back putting greens and bocce ball action. Guess what? Yeah, donated by listeners as well. You come back in the screened-in area in the back left corner, we have a cigar bar, donated by a listener. And now you're thinking, this is great, terrific, but I don't have anything with me. Well, that's not a problem around here because we also have extra suntan lotion, extra chairs, extra towels. You only have one job to do, and that is this. Just show up. Just show up and be here and be present. Enjoy the sun on your skin, the breeze on your skin, taking in that vitamin D, and enjoying with us for the next hour or so clothes-free living for all of the right reasons. Well, Lisa Monroe is walking through the studio door right now as I am speaking with two. That's right, count them, 2 cups of coffee. I can only hope that one of those is for me. I have a hot piping cup right next to me, but that usually is on E before the end of the show. Is that for me? Okay. Yes, she nodded her head yes. So I do have an extra cup of coffee, courtesy of Lisa Monroe. We'll get to her in just a moment. A lot to discuss today. A lot of topics we're going to bring to you, including some AANR news. We do have the election coming up fairly soon. And we know that we have 2 people running for president. The current person is running again. And then we have Joe RIVES, the current president of AANR, Florida. Wait until you hear this guy's resume. He's done it all in the work of nonprofit organizations, working with budgets up to $240 million a year. And he was even voted AANR Man of the Year in 2025. So less than a year ago, Joe RIVES running for president for the American Association for Nude Recreation. That same Joe RIVES, Man of the Year for AANR in 2025. And we'll talk all about that as well. And we have some other things to hit on. So you're going to enjoy today's show, we hope. It looks like we're going to go over an hour based on the amount of content that we have. So settle in, grab some extra coffee, some iced tea, whatever your favorite beverage is. Don't forget we have the grill going. Some of the things are done. You can help yourself, the fruits, the vegetables, cold drinks, hot drinks. We have it all. Just come on in and be ready to enjoy today's show as Lisa Monroe is sitting down. So let's get to her. In fact, I think I hear some music under my voice. Do you hear it? Let's listen to it together. Oh, yes, I hear the music. I'm sure that you hear it too. That can only mean one thing. It's time for the great and the terrific, the completely over-the-top, one-of-a-kind, fully clothes-free and fully smiling, our naturism correspondent, Lisa Monroe. And here she is, the one and only, the one-of-a-kind, the completely clothes-free and fully smiling, our naturism correspondent, Lisa Monroe. Good morning, Lisa. How are you today?
I'm doing great. You just turned completely away from me.
Yes, I did. I
noticed that.
Corner of my eye, I saw movement. I thought she's up to her old tricks. So I turned as far away as I could and still have my mouth near the microphone for your little intro. Are you proud of yourself or what?
Well, I was just waving good morning to you. That was all. I wasn't doing anything terrible. No, I wasn't waving both hands and wiggling fingers or anything like that. No. Anyway.
All right. What were you doing? I thought I saw hand movement, but I couldn't.
I was actually waving.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. Well, today is April 29th, and believe it or not, I went to middle school 192 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I was really close friends with another guy whose birthday was April 29th.
Okay.
Now, I haven't seen him in 162 years, but isn't it funny what we remember from childhood? I still remember that today is his birthday. That's kind of odd, but then again, I guess that's how the human brain works.
I think it is because, little bits and pieces will pop in your head about things that happened when you were 5 and 6 and so forth. And it's like, why? Why is that important? But apparently at the moment, it made a very lasting impression. Or the brain's just muddled into throwing things out when it wants to, I guess.
Well, no, I remember this every year and have every year. No, I don't contact him. We went to different high schools and kind of lost touch. We were both in music and sports. He decided when he got to high school, forget the music, I'm focusing on sports. Fine. And he was really good. Yeah. And I decided, forget the sports, I'm going to focus on the music. Mm-hmm. And I did. And so not only did we go to different schools, then we had different interests. We ended up going to the same college, and he played football for the same college that I went to.
Oh, goodness.
And, of course, I was in the band and orchestra for the same college we went to, but we never saw each other on campus because the athletic part and the music part were at, polar opposites, far away. So just amazing what we go through in life. And what comes back to us.
And I had friends as adults that I haven't seen in probably 20 years, and they both have they're a married couple, but their birthdays are the same day, so they celebrate May 31st, May 31st. I can't even get that right, as their birthday day, and it's just it's something every time that pops up I think about. So, and like I said, I haven't seen them forever, so the brain works in mysterious ways.
Yeah, well, in 13 years from now. Mm-hmm. You and I will each be 40 years old because we're both 27 right now, as we tell people. Well, do you think you'll feel old when you're 40? And the reason I'm asking is today is our 40th straight Wednesday show. Do you feel old today? Will you feel old in 13 years? Just putting it out there.
I'm thinking the 40 episodes is the one that's making us feel a little draggy, not the 40 years. No, because. Yeah, the 40 episodes is a lot of episodes.
Well, I'm going to make you even more tired. Today's the 40th Wednesday, but each week we did a Wednesday show, which is every week. We also did a Saturday show.
Yes.
So from the time we started the show, we've actually done 80 episodes. And I'm guessing I'm going to feel older when I get to 80. What do you think?
I'm thinking we probably will. The funny thing is that this is tiring. No one should ever believe that it isn't because we put a lot of work into these. But the fact is it's fun and it's something we love. It's creative and we enjoy it. So it's hard, but it's good at the same time. So I don't mind this kind of tired. I really don't.
No, not at all. We just persevere through it and do what we do. And it's a blast. We enjoy doing it. We enjoy the feedback and all that we're putting out there for the naturism community. So we're just kidding.
Yes.
I don't feel old today, at least
No.
not any older than I felt yesterday, which I don't think I felt old yesterday out there with my chainsaw, hot dogging it for the neighbors. What do you think?
Yeah, you're just a show off. That's all. You get the chainsaw out, macho man thing going. What were you cutting down a bush with a chainsaw?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I still have a lot of dead stuff, trees and bushes and plants that just flat out died when we got that freezing cold weather
Awful.
down to 10 degrees for multiple nights. And certain plants can't survive in Florida with that kind of weather. They have to be above a certain temperature depending on the plant. And you might survive one night. You're not going to make it for two.
No.
And the ones that are small and in pots, can always be brought inside. But if they're in the ground, yeah, you can cover them up, put a blanket on it. But sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
It's true.
And yeah, I lost a lot and I'll probably be working on this for the next 8 years. So
I wouldn't be surprised because you got to replace everything too. But the trick that the orange growers use is they turn the sprinklers on and cover everything with water, and the ice insulates them. So that might be something you might think of the next time, is to just turn the sprinklers on, get them wet, let them freeze. That ice will insulate them and cause less damage, because that's what they do with the orange trees.
Well, see, that's why I keep doing this show, because I learned so much just by being in your presence.
I should think so. I mean, seriously. I'm full of such wonderful knowledge. It's very useless in most cases, but in this case, maybe not so much.
No, not at all. I might give it a shot. Well, if we felt old at 40, or if we're going to feel old at 80, how old will we feel at 200? Because our 200th episode is coming, and today's 188, so it's not that far away. I'm guessing if we live to be 200, we might be a little tired at that point. What do you think?
No, I'm thinking if we live to 200, there's a reason, and there's probably nice things that help us feel really great to do that. So maybe we won't be too bad. But yeah, the 200 episode coming up is mind blowing. And I know we kind of keep talking about that, but it's a big thing to us. We're not going to make a big thing out of it, but it's just like another milestone for us. And it's, it's just kind of fun. Yeah, I think we'll probably be a little tired. If we actually look back and thought about all the things that we've had to have done and had to deal with in doing all of this, it would probably be almost, I don't want to say depressing, but a situation where, you're thinking, why am I doing all this? I have all this other stuff to do. But you know what? Again, it's just fun for us, and we love it, and we love naturism. So, don't care what anybody says. That's what we want to do.
And I do have, and I know you do too, but I have two major projects that should have been done long ago. And I barely even, one I don't even haven't touched since we started the show. The other one I touched a little bit, but, I need to get serious about those. But this show is taking all the time, which is not a complaint. But at some point, I'm going to have to kick into gear with these other projects.
Yes.
And we'll see how it goes. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just die an old man and say, he never finished those other two projects. But at least we have Naked Nudists and Naturists, 10 gazillion episodes that she and he left in their wake. How about that?
Yes, that'll work, because I've got the same thing. I have things that are sitting there going, please finish me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'll get to you later. I got a meme to make, and Frank will be calling for it and going, where's my meme, pretty soon. So, the taskmaster has to get taken care of first, apparently.
No, it's more like Frank says, hi, how are you today? Hope you're doing well. By any chance, could we get the meme over the next 8 years or 9 years or so? I try to be really pleasant and positive. I don't say, give me the meme. I don't think anyway, or do I?
No, I don't think you got some. It's one of those things, you didn't say it, but maybe you meant it, no.
Oh, yeah.
But
yeah.
I don't believe you meant it, so.
Oh, no, down
I'm
deep
teasing.
Inside, I'm thinking, where is the doggone son of a gun meme?
Exactly.
I guess I better call her and play nice and see if I can get it, so.
Yes.
All right, well, if we're not going to feel tired at 40 or at 80 or at 200, maybe adding a third show each week will finish us off. What do you think?
We've been talking about this for a bit, because we had people ask us, please do another show. We would, we have one person absolutely begging, saying that would only mean 2 days between episodes, and he could get his fix. And which I love, and I love the fact that that's important to him. But we're also getting people going, oh, we're really worried that you'd be over stressed out by doing this. So one of the reasons we keep wanting to ask is that hey, we'd like to get more feedback. What do you think? We're I don't think it's really going to create much of a problem for us, because we're just so geared to sitting down and doing these, but it's just something would you want to see, and so.
Oh, I think we're beyond the asking part. I think we're going to do this. And you mentioned one guy asked for it. Actually, several. He's the first one, and
Right.
he keeps asking for it. But there are several who've been for a long time. Hey, what do you think?
I know.
Because Saturday to Wednesday is a long time to wait. And the one or two who said, are you sure you guys can pull this off time wise? Well, that's never been a consideration around here. The answer's always been no. We have no time to do any of this. But here we are, episode 188. We just keep bumping away. Now, admittedly, Lisa, you and I could not start a third show today. We literally do not have the time.
No,
mostly
there's too
because
much coming up.
Well, there's mostly because of stuff going on behind the scenes that we, at some point, will make more public. It just can't be today.
Right.
And so that's taking some of the time. When that's all, at least to the point where it's manageable, then we'll get going. And we don't know when that is yet, but we'll keep you posted.
Yes.
Well, we have some more podcast platform comments. And again, we'll put this out there for the next few shows, as we've done the last few as well. People have intentionally recently gone on Apple and Spotify and given us the lowest possible rating to lower our overall rating. Yeah, we know who they are, and are they naturist content creators? Well, you decide for yourself, but we know who they are, and so we're asking you to go on and give us the highest rating possible to balance these people off. But we do have some comments here, and would you like to read the first one from Gassy1NM? I don't want an explanation as to where he or she came up with that name.
Hey.
But if you don't mind, the title and the content.
Name is cool. So anyway, all right. The title of this is NNN is my favorite naturist podcast.
All right.
Because I've been listening to NNN since the beginning in 2023. It's my favorite naturist podcast. I look forward to listening every Wednesday and Saturday. Lots of good info and interesting topics. Very well done. And thank you, Gassy. We appreciate that.
Yeah, Gassy1NM. And you and I have something in common. It's our favorite naturist podcast, too. What are the odds?
Wow, how about that?
Yeah.
Kind of would be sort of weird if it wasn't, wouldn't it? Okay. But anyway, it is.
Well, yeah,
we have fun.
Yeah, and there are some, like in sports, athletes play on teams, and they can't stand the team they're on. Either they're no good or they just, trade me, release me, something. But we don't want to be traded or released. We're glad that we're here.
No. I am perfectly content right where I am.
All right. We have, by the way, we got some emails and direct messages from previous people.
Yes, we did.
And they said, by the way, I am so-and-so. Now, we knew so-and-so from his or her actual email address, but from the name they gave themselves on Apple or Spotify, we didn't know them. Now we know who they are.
Yes.
So if we're reading your comment today and you want to say, hey, that's me. I'm gassy as can be. See, that rhymed again. I'm telling you, I have a gift for poetry. I am just kidding. I do not. No gift
Of course
whatsoever.
you do.
But if you recognize that as yourself, let us know.
Yes, I'm sure you're going to give Rick Dorsiak a run for his money writing lyrics. So what can I tell you?
Right. Yes.
No, Rick is safe. But anyway.
Yeah, I would say so. Let's move to the next one now. This is from Windy City J. Can we safely assume this is somebody from Chicago?
I would think that would be a logical assumption to make.
Okay.
We wouldn't probably be too far wrong, but.
All right. His or her title is Love It! Exclamation point. Thank you for making this podcast. I am really enjoying it and hope you will continue making more episodes. I am new to nudism, and I have been having a hard time finding a podcast that I really enjoy. Well, we thank you, Windy City J. That's very nice of you to say that.
Very much so.
Yeah. And the same thing, if you want to identify yourself to us, we will not put that out publicly unless you want us to. How about the next one?
The next one is from El Conquistador.
Yeah.
And interesting, very ID to use. And El Conquistador says, Awesome with 2 exclamation points.
Yeah.
I'm excited to add this to my podcast rotation. There's not that many naturist podcasts that stand the test of time, and I sure hope this one has a long life ahead of it. Frank has a great voice for this and a bit reminiscent of the legendary Paul Harvey. Okay, we're going to have to deal with that. But anyway, love that you often mention that it was meant to be non judgmental and body acceptance in the mission. Great work.
Okay, not that I am easy or anything, Lisa, but if L. Ken Kistador is a woman
Uh-huh.
and she said Frank has a great voice, I might be getting married later today. Just putting it out there.
Oh, well, is that all it takes? Okay, very good.
That's it. I mean, the bells are going off. I think I've met. No, I'm just kidding. I am totally kidding.
You're kidding.
We do appreciate. We appreciate the very kind words. Yeah, remember Paul Harvey? Do you remember him pretty well?
Of course, I remember
Yeah.
Paul Harvey.
Yeah, legendary. I don't know when he started.
The rest of the
40s,
story,
50s.
I don't.
Certainly in the 60s, he was big.
Right, I remember him well from when I was much younger, but and listened to him all along through until the time he retired. So,
Yeah.
he always kind of wanted to say, "What's he going to talk about next?" And then
Yeah.
that voice would kind of pull you in, and you're kind of mesmerized. So you didn't really care what he was talking about. It was just that calming, pleasant moment, and so it was a good deal.
Yeah, he had 2 shows a day. One was either a minute or 5 minutes. It was just kind of a quick inserted between news breaks or whatever.
Right.
And the other was closer to 20 minutes. And when I was at work, it was really hard for me to listen to the radio and get away with it.
I hear you.
And so I recorded his show, which was about 15, 20 minutes, I think 20 minutes. And then the show that came after it, which was a great talk show. And it lasted until the top of the hour. So on my way home, kind of like a couple of our listeners do, I would listen to about half of that recording, about a half hour's worth. I lived a half hour away. And the next morning on the way to work, I'd listen to the other half. So I heard Paul Harvey every day as well as this other show. So it's a tradition that's being carried on by some of our listeners.
That's great, and I think it's just wonderful that these people are finding what they wanted from a naturist podcast, and I'm just very thankful that they're listening and they're sticking with us and they understand where we're coming from.
Yeah, very much so. And the last one we want to read today is from somebody who identifies himself or herself as, "Oh no."
I love that.
But the title is "Great Podcast!" exclamation point. Just discovered this great naturist podcast. I love the format with Frank and Lisa reporting on various naturist topics. The guests have been people I know from social media, and this allows me to get to know them better. Keep up the positive work! Exclamation point. So thank you for that. Oh no, we appreciate that. Go ahead. Any comments?
Yeah, I was going to say, oh no, it's oh no again. No, no, that's great. I like that, and it is good for people to see, especially if someone's involved in the naturism community in a very strong manner or very open manner. It's nice for people to get to know those personalities and see who they really are, and it's just really that's a good thing, and I'm glad they're enjoying that.
Yeah, very much so. I wanted to turn to Tim Chizmar for a moment. We've been mentioning his movie, Naked as Created. Came out yesterday. It's out there now. You can get it. Amazon Prime. You can stream it, rent it through Amazon Prime. You can buy the DVD. And a lot of people are in that movie who we've had on the show. And I want to mention a few of them again to make sure we get the correct name. Obviously, Tim is starring in his movie. Kate Lane, Christopher Michelli.
Yes.
I've been saying that wrong until the last show. But he plays the part of Pastor Jim Moore. Dan Hawkins, Southwest AANR president, author as well. Melody Munson, Jeff and Cindy Tendick from Shangri-La Ranch. And I don't remember. Oh, Rachel Moore, Pastor Jim Moore's daughter, plays his wife in the movie. And Cynthia Holbach, the president of the Naturist Society Foundation. Any comments on the movie? It's out there now so people can get it.
We got to see kind of the rough cut of it very early on, and Pastor Jim's story is pretty impressive. I mean, there was his kind of awakening into naturism, and then this whole situation that he had to deal with, and the pushback from the church and from everyone. But he persevered, and he found his way into the ministry he wanted. And I think it's a great story. It's an uplifting story. And it's not just a religious story. It is about the perseverance of someone who wants to be a naturist and finds a way to do what they enjoy doing. So I think it's a great movie. And I'm anxious to see the final cut of it because I think it'll be really great.
Yeah. Well, it's also living as God intended for us to live.
Exactly.
We're naked as created, born naked, intended to live naked. And he decided to do that. And then his church said, hey, baby, you got to be kidding. Not that he showed up at church nude.
No.
Just he did that on the weekends or at home or whatever. And they just found that despicable, even though it's right from the Bible. So we'll check that out.
Yes, very much.
All right. Now, on the Clothes Free International show on April 8th, sometimes Tim Chizmar is a featured reporter, and he was in a swimming pool. I don't know where that was, at a hotel or a nudist resort. I don't know. But he talked about his movie, of course, but he also put our meme up there to advertise the fact he'll be coming on the show. We have an interview with him coming up. But he also made some comments. He talked about, we're a niche group as naturists, and the last thing we should ever be doing is shooting at each other. And I'm paraphrasing, but he said, if you find anybody being negative toward another naturist or naturist content creator, shut them down, is what he said. And that is great advice. And if everybody had taken that advice, we would have time to do the third show this week. But we'll put that aside for now. But thank you for those comments. Tim Chizmar, any last thoughts from you?
Just Tim's been he's been with us from the very beginning. I mean, he came on like gangbusters, excited about the show, and he's been a tremendous source of information for us and guidance, and some things that he said, hey, why don't you do this? Hey, why don't you do that? And we've done some of those things, and by golly, it worked. So Tim knows the world of entertainment and broadcasting and how to do things, and it's just been a pleasure to work with him.
Yeah, well, for example, those Thursday morning previews of the upcoming Saturday show, that was directly an idea from Tim.
Right. And he told us to get on YouTube. And we did. And YouTube's blowing up right now. So, we're excited about that.
Yeah, and it whets the appetite of the listeners on Thursday. Oh, that's what's coming up. Okay, I think I'll tune in. And that's why we've given it to you every Thursday since the fall of 2023. I had to think back when we started this. I think that's when we first started. So that's a whole lot of previews going on there. And we just do it for the Saturday shows, not the Wednesday shows.
Yeah.
So thank you again to Tim Chizmar.
Yes.
Now we want to talk about AANR a little bit here. And there are some things going on there. And being the fact that we were associated with them, and being the fact that I've gotten to know a lot of people, I have a lot of information. However, in the professional world, when you get information as a professional and then you're not tied to those people anymore, you don't go out there and blast away, well, you won't believe what she said or he said 6 months ago. No, you don't do that. So we won't do that. No. Boy, do I have some great information too, Lisa. I'm just not going to pass it along. It would blow up the world of naturism.
Sometimes it's just best to be quiet.
Yeah, and that would be wrong. That would just be inherently wrong. Someone shares confidential information with you, and then their relationship falls apart. You don't go on the internet and tell the world, well, you won't believe what she told me 6 months ago or 2 years ago. No, it's just immature and unprofessional behavior, and we don't do it. But there are some issues with AANR, and starting with, and we're still trying to get confirmation on this, I was told the window for voting for the next slate of people, president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, trustees, and the various regions, the window would open on or around May 15th. And we heard that it opened on April 15th, a full 30 days ahead of time. If it was supposed to be May 15th, why is it suddenly April 15th? We don't have an answer on that yet. We also have not asked AANR about that. We're asking you now, why'd you put it out there a month before? Or was the original date that given to us, was that incorrect? You always put it
Hmm.
out April 15th. So that's the first one. So we have two people running for president. The current president is running, and then Joe Rivas is running. Joe is the current AANR Florida president, and we'll go over his qualifications in a few moments. Now, when you're brand new in any situation, you run on what, personality, energy, in the case of the current president, social media presence, and putting out photos, and you can get elected that way. But after you've been elected, 2 years later, now you have a record to run on, and you're voted back in. Hopefully, the record's good. You're back in. If the record's not so good, you're not put back in. We look for somebody else. And so I thought we would take a look back at the current president's goals as she stated in 2004 on the AANR website. This isn't anything confidentially given to us. This is her after she got elected, got sworn in, went public on AANR with her goals, her stated goals. And the first one, the number one goal, promote young adults, inclusivity, and diversity, better known as the WYADAC Council. And her paragraph on the AANR website, number one goal, with the creation of the Youth and Diversity Advisory Council, the focus will be on welcoming young adults in marginalized communities through alliances with existing groups that offer events AANR can sponsor or work with to attract younger members. Sounds great. Now we have a record, though. This was 2 years ago after she got elected, had done nothing yet other than, hey, here's what I'm going to do. Number one goal, WYADAC. WYADAC so far has had 3 leaders in less than 2 years. I don't know why the first one departed. The second one stated he got a promotion at work and no longer had time to volunteer. The third one lasted 1 meeting and said, I'm out of here. So I guess we're asking the current president, or if AANR wants to weigh in, what has happened with this? Do we suddenly have a whole bunch of younger people and people of diversity and marginalized communities? Do we suddenly have a whole bunch? She mentioned 2,405 new members. How many of those are youth and diversity type people or marginalized people? I don't know about you, Lisa, but I see her number one goal as an abysmal failure. 3 leaders in less than 2 years. I don't even know if there is a fourth leader in place, but I've seen nothing done. I've seen attempts, but nothing has actually come to fruition. If I am wrong, we want to be corrected by the current president and or AANR. Say, oh, no, we have 5,000, this, that, and the other thing, and we've done all these great things. Terrific. Then we'll put that on the air. But from where we sit to where I sit, and I want to get your views too, Lisa, abysmal failure. Goal number one, the most important thing to her, boom, bam, dropped like a nuclear bomb, and it's been a disaster. Your thoughts?
I can't disagree with your comment that I think it's been a disaster. And one of the things I think that the problem is here is that there is a lack of transparency. What are they doing? What was the goals when this committee was formed? What were their first goals that they were supposed to raise? What were their events they were going to do to reach out to people? Do we know nothing? And the fact is that we know a lot of young people who want to be naturists or who are naturists. They're listeners. We know some personally, and they're all like, hey, what are we supposed to do? What's good for us in this organization? And, we can tell them you can go, to a resort and have a lot of fun, but maybe karaoke's not their thing, or maybe, water volleyball's not their thing. Maybe they need something else to do. We don't see that. And I think that most of the resorts are doing a pretty good job of trying to, get everyone. But I just don't see a plan. There's no plan. There's no events. There's no communication. So I think it's just a very sad thing that 2 years later, it's nothing.
Yeah, and I've had these positions forever. I don't have them anymore because I left that world, but I would have goals. And then at the end of a certain term, and usually it was at the end of a year, like each year, I have to revisit with the board. Well, how'd you do on your goals?
Exactly.
Well, I'd better have some really good answers with data to back it up. Otherwise, hey, this isn't too good here. So that's what we're asking. We had these number one goal, promote young adults, inclusivity, and diversity. I see it as an unmitigated disaster. hasn't done a darn thing with it. And that falls directly on the president because it was her idea, and she promoted that all through the election campaign. Vote for me, and I'll do this. She didn't do it. Let's move on to the second one. Enhance education and awareness. You know, I'm used to people speaking in platitudes, especially politicians. What does that mean? And if you want to read her a couple of sentences there, go ahead.
Through the public relations and membership marketing committees, we plan on enhancing our educational efforts, promoting the benefits of nudism and dispelling myths, improving the public image of nudists through visible altruism.
Okay. Now, the marketing committee is George Oberle. He's done, he busts his tail. He does the best he can.
Yes,
George.
George has done a fabulous job. George has tried. He's come up with ideas. He's put them in motion. He's done a tremendous amount. And yeah, he's done great.
The PR committee, I think that guy's been an unmitigated disaster as well. Enough about him.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it is on the PR committee, I never see anything from anyone but their paid public relations person. And, that's a little short and quite often very, hey, we all know that kind of PR work. So that's not serving it well either.
No. Now, part of what I used to do in life, and I guess I still do it to a degree, is marketing and PR. So I understand those two things pretty well. There are certain things in life I understand really well. Most of life, I don't get it all, like changing the oil in a car, no clue. Fixing the engine, no clue. PR and marketing, yeah, I have some pretty big clues there and have had some success in those areas. All PR and all marketing has to be tied to data, starting with what are the goals? And let's say we want to increase membership by 100 people. Just throwing a number out there for the sake of argument. How do we get 100 more people? Hey, we could do this or we could do that. And you come up with a plan, and then you put the plan in motion. You tweak it along the way. And when it's all said and done, did we get 100 people? And if yes, great, success. And if you didn't, failure. Then you have to go back to the drawing board. I haven't seen any numbers related to PR and marketing. Wow, we got 50 billion gazillion more members because of this effort or that effort. I don't know. Have you seen anything, Lisa?
I have seen nothing. And again, George has done the best that he can do. He's good at what he does, but he can't do it alone. And so there needs to be support. There needs to be transparency, and just get the word out. Part of the problem, I think, is that they don't get the word down the lane, so to speak, to the people who need it when they're on the ground. And so it's, and it's just sort of like, oh, well, they don't read their emails. Well, they better, so, hold people accountable for what they're supposed to be doing. If they're even a volunteer for an organization, you still have obligations.
Well, and I want to be really clear. We're putting all of this on the current president, not the people who run the committees or volunteer.
No, I agree.
Yeah. The her number 2 goal was to enhance education and awareness. So we're asking, how did that go? How have you enhanced education? How have you enhanced awareness? What were the goals? What were the outcomes? I've seen nothing. So it comes off as yet another platitude, and life will be great. You elect me and I'll do this, except you didn't do it as far as we know. But again, if we're wrong, tell us and we'll correct the record.
Examples would help. Don't just say we've done it. Show what you've done. That's the old show and tell from writing. You don't always tell people, you show people. And I don't think there's been a lot of that.
But beyond that, we need data as to how it worked or did not work.
Yes.
Promoting the benefits of nudism. Well, AANR's done that forever. Dispelling myths. AANR's done that forever. Enhancing educational efforts. AANR's done that forever.
Yes.
What have you done since it was your number 2 goal? And I see nothing accomplished, but let's move on for now. Goal number 3, and again, these are the current president's goals when she took office in August of 2024. Advocate for legal privileges and recognition. To me, that's something AANR has always done. I mean, Eric Shutoff's been the ringleader there and fighting legal battles. Increasing advocacy for the privileges and acknowledgement of nudists at local, state, and national levels. By continuing to engage with policymakers, we can protect and expand our freedoms, ensuring that our philosophy is understood and respected. Proactively reach out to legislators via lobbyists with suggested bill language to carve out nudist rights and encourage states to template the bill. Okay, what have you done? What have you done, and what have the results been? Did you really engage with policymakers? I think they did at something they went to, some national conference. But if you did engage with them, what was the outcome? Did you get any bills passed because of it? And again, we're talking to the current president, not this is not
Yes.
I'm not talking to Eric or the trustees or
No,
anybody
not
else.
at all.
It's her goal. What did you do? But beyond that, what's the outcome? And then also reach out to legislators via lobbyists with suggested bill language to carve out nudist rights. What did you do? And what was the result? You reached out? Did you reach out? And if you did, what was the result? Take it from there.
Well, I do believe the current president did attend a very large conference of legislators, and I'm not sure exactly what it was named, but I do remember reading about that. I don't remember and saying, "Well, we met a lot of people," but there was never anything about. And we discussed this, and we discussed this, and they're going to go forward with this, or they offered this explanation, or whatever. But what I do remember is that they did pins for this, and they always do pins for this. And so it was a big deal about what the pins look like and who did them and so forth. Well, those are nice things because people do go collect those kind of things at events. But that was not the focus. That was the perk.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what was the outcome? Who did you talk to? What did they promise to do? What did they say they couldn't do? Just let us know. The members should know these things.
Well, yeah, especially since they were her stated goals and encouraging states to template the bill.
Mm-hmm.
How many states have done that? Is it zero?
Exactly.
Is it all 50? Somewhere in between? Oh, let us know. But to speak in platitudes with no data, no outcomes, I hate to use the word nowheresville, but that's exactly where it is. And to be clear, we are not after the current president.
No.
We're just, there's an election apparently going on right now, much earlier than we were told it was going to be. And there's a decision that has to be made. If she's fulfilled her goals, if she's fulfilled her mission, put her back in. And if she hasn't, then it might be time to look elsewhere. Number 4, expand recreational opportunities. Sounds great, doesn't it, Lisa? What a
It
great
does.
title. Yeah. Work with clubs to suggest expansion and improved recreational facilities and ensure they meet the standards AANR has set while looking to present ways to, and here we go, welcome marginalized communities, include beaches and non-club recreation as choices in addition to clubs. Okay. What work have you done with clubs about expansion and improving facilities? And then you look for ways to present ways to welcome marginalized communities. What have you done? Marginalized communities. She's defined those before. I won't go into it now, but how many more members from, in quotation marks, marginalized communities do you have? We'd like to know. We want to know the data. What were the outcomes there? Your thoughts on that?
Well, naturism is inclusive. It is non-judgmental. So what have you done to bring people to naturism? And the other thing is that you're working with resorts, but resorts are businesses. So, what are you discussing with them that they're willing to do, or what do they need from AANR to help them do the job? And I'm not sure that conversation ever takes place. It's a lot of, from what I've seen, and I could be wrong, it's a lot of, hey, you should do this, but maybe the resorts and the non-landed clubs aren't in a position to do that. That may not fit their business plan. So what do we need to do to help them bring more naturism to themselves, to their own facilities?
All right, and then her 5th and final goal, and again, these are the current president's goals for her first 2 years of her presidency, which are nearing the end.
Mm-hmm.
Foster stronger communication by strengthening our communication and transparency through newsletters, email, and social media, and our hopes that every member feels heard, valued, and supported. Great. Do they? Have you taken a poll? Have you called every single member or emailed them, say, hey, do you feel heard? Do you feel valued? Do you feel supported? If so, what are the outcomes? And I'm guessing they have not done that. And so that's all 5 goals, Lisa Monroe. Great platitudes, great ideas, at least in terms of words. I haven't seen any of them come to fruition. But again, we always put the caveat out there. If we're wrong, we want the current president to send us a letter. No, 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 I did this, that, and the other thing for this goal or whatever. And we'll happily read it on the air. And
Absolutely.
because we're not after anybody. We're not targeting
No.
people. We want the truth out there. And I don't think we have the truth right now, so we're asking for it. Any last thoughts on the 5 goals?
No, I think that, the goals are lofty. Goals usually are at the beginning of any sort of office taking. But the fact is that you have to, at some point, show something that you've done to reach those goals. And so far, we've seen very little. We don't see anything being actively done for the youth and diversity groups. We don't see, we don't know for sure if we have accurate membership numbers, and we're trying to get information on that. And as far as what have they done with the clubs? What have they done with, all of these things? And again, this education, AANR's been that forever. So that's not a goal of the president. That's a goal of the organization. So what is the president going to do to make that happen? And that's just, you can't talk in such generalities and expect for people to think you've done something.
Yeah. Now, the main issue, I have issues with everything we've said so far in terms of her goals, but this whole thing about membership numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Remember at the February meeting, she put up on the board behind her, PowerPoint or whatever it was, 2,405 new members.
Yes.
Now, I was shocked at that. I like to think I'm at least halfway intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
I like to think I'm reasonably tied in, and I had never heard that number. Like, whoa, that's huge news. Well, then it turns out, according to somebody who I will not identify, and then we checked with other sources who we will not identify, and they confirmed everything. Yeah, the 2405 was real. We really did go up by 2405, but we lost almost 3,000 at the same time. So the final number during her tenure is, about 509 fewer members.
Yes.
Her goal was to increase membership. She's lost members. That wasn't put out there at that meeting. That's not been put out there anywhere, whether it's blatant dishonesty and lying to her members and to her board, to her trustees, to everybody, whether she just didn't know. And there's no excuse for that. When you're the CEO, you're the president, you have to know. You ask questions until you get the answers you need before you go public. And then you heard something or read something in the minutes. There was a comment made, now we have to work on retention.
Yes.
So is that a sneaky way of saying, yeah, we know we lost more than we gained, so we got to work on that? Well, that is sneaky. You should have said that. We got 2405 new ones. We lost about 3,000. Son of a gun, we got to work on retention. But it wasn't said other than we got to work on retention. What does that mean? Did you lose one member and you want to retain one member? Did you lose all 25,000? You need them back? It was never explained. I see this as very sneaky and at least borderline dishonest, if not intentionally dishonest. What do you think?
I think it's being very selective in what you want to say to people, because just saying, hey, we're up 2,405 people, guess what? That sounds fabulous. If you don't follow it up with, but of course we lost more than we gained, so we while we're doing great on getting new people, we need to retain the people we have. That would have been an honest statement, and that would have not been a problem to me. I mean, it would have been a problem that they're not working on retention, but at least it was an honest statement. Instead, it's like, oh yeah, we need to work on retention too, and that was it. But nowhere at the meeting, because we both listened to the meeting, did we hear that there was a retention issue. Only in the written report was that given. And it was just given as we lost more people than we gained. And I'm not sure that the actual number of losses, net loss that they gave, was even in those minutes. So I'd have to go back and read them again. But, so there was a lot of, let me pick and choose what I want to say so it makes me look better. Yeah. And, anyone who does that, there's a problem.
Well, I think she did mention retention at the meeting. Like we
Yes,
went up
she did.
2405, now we got to work on retention.
Right, right.
What does that mean? She didn't define it. Therefore, it was hidden from us. It was hidden from me, and we're reasonably tied in. And then you get to the whole aspect. She's talked a lot about this, talked about it during her first campaign, talked about it during her presidency. Transparency. That is the opposite of transparency when you hide information from the membership. Now, I'm going to say something that's going to sound pretty harsh, except I've lived my adult life in the real world.
Yes, you have.
And in the real world, when the CEO president lies to his or her board, lies to the organization, lies to the members, lies to the employees, they're often removed. Sometimes immediately. We're going to suspend you immediately, and then behind the scenes, we're going to work to get you out of here. Now, she's not a paid employee, so you're not firing an employee, but we can't have a president who either flat out lies or hides information that is vital, and at the same time says, oh, we're totally transparent. Maybe that's the lie. We'll see what the trustees do. They have the information now. I know some of them listen to the show, and maybe they had it before. I don't know. I don't know the trustees well enough to even say what they know or what they don't know. But you have a CEO/president who, as I said earlier, was borderline dishonest, certainly not transparent, and certainly did hide the fact that she lost 3,000 people under her during her tenure. Thoughts from you?
Well, it does come back to transparency, and it also comes back to, all of us can set a goal and maybe not reach it. And maybe there are reasons, but if you don't list the methodology that you were using, and if you don't give accurate results on what happened, someone might say, hey, that's great. We got new members. Now, what do we do to help get these people to stay? That would have been a group effort. That should have been something that everybody knew. And if the truth is out there, that doesn't always mean that someone's done a bad job. It just means that there's more work to be done. But not telling that, to me, says, I'm sorry, but I didn't get what I wanted, and I'm not going to tell you. And I just think that's the wrong way to lead.
Yeah. Now, we're not calling for the
No.
trustees to throw her out.
No.
I'm just telling you what happens in the real world. That really does happen.
It does. I mean, I even know it from organizations that I've been part of, where there was a large national organization. So there were different clubs in different cities. And they had a president who basically did the same thing, just didn't tell the truth about what was happening, about where the budget was, what monies were spent, what they were doing for efforts. And it took very little time for that person to be removed from office. And so if you have a governing body of any kind, and you find that's the issue, then if you're there to protect the organization, then you have to protect the organization. And that's what these people did by removing someone who was doing the organization a disservice. So,
I would even suggest the current president should say, you know what, I did hide the information. I've never told anybody we lost almost 3,000 people. I am going to resign effective immediately and take my name off the ballot. Don't vote for me because I have totally messed up here. Again, a suggestion. We're not calling for her to do that. Go ahead.
No, I just think that it's a very sad situation. AANR is an amazing organization. It is here to protect naturism. It has done that. It's proven that it has done that over the years through the efforts of the GAC committee and of Eric and as executive director, and a lot of people who, this is important to them. So when you have an issue pop up like this, that just undermines everything that's going on in the organization. And it also, we know from the letters we're getting from people now that we've, spoken about this a little bit, that there are some people out there who are quite concerned about what's going on, more so probably than Anna realizes.
Yeah. Well, I had, when I was in the CEO chair, I had to take a bid on something. I forgot what it was. I think it was a roofing project and fairly expensive. And at the time, the law was I had to get 3 bids. It was also in the bylaws, and that's how the company was run. I had to get 3 bids, and I had to choose the lowest bid as long as they fulfilled all of the elements that we put in the bid.
Mm-hmm.
Got them in and took the three lowest, and I'm supposed to take the lowest. And for reasons that I won't go into here because it would take too long, I realized actually the second lowest was the best one because they were going to use even better materials than we had asked for. So I went to our construction person who that's his job to manage that. I said, have you noticed? He goes, yeah, I was going to talk to you about that. I think we should go with the second company.
Mm-hmm.
I said, but by law, we have to go with the first. And he reminded me, he goes, unless we can justify why we're going with the second. I said, correct. And I think we can. So for the next board meeting, when they had to approve this or not or whatever, I put in the notes, this is not the lowest bid. It's the second lowest bid. And here's the reasons why I think we should do it. And they get those minutes, I don't know, a week ahead of time or whatever. So they had a week to go through them. We get to the meeting, and it was time for the vote on the contractor. And they turned to me and I said, hey, I recommend company, ABC or whatever. And a few questions were asked, no big deal. And they took a vote, 7-0. We approved the second lowest company. Okay, so a few weeks later, there's the same board where that one woman really didn't like me from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
she wanted someone else to have the job. And she told the president of the board, oh, by the way, he didn't come to us with the lowest bid. I think we ought to fire his rear end right away. And technically, she was correct, except I did tell them about it in the notes. And the president came to me and said, well, I guess we have a problem. You apparently recommended the second lowest bid, not the lowest. I said, that's correct.
Mm-hmm.
He said, by any chance, and he was on my side fully. He said, by any chance, have you ever told us about that or put it in the notes that I didn't see? I said, yeah, it was in the notes of that meeting. He said, if that's the case, no harm, no foul, we're good to go. He goes, but if you snuck this past us, and remember, this is the guy who liked me and supported me.
Yes.
If you snuck this past us, I don't think we can save your job. And I said, I didn't sneak anything past you. It's right in the notes. So he fired up the notes on the phone. And he said, son of a gun, it's right here. He goes, I totally missed this. I said, yeah, it's right there in black and white. It's the second lowest. I didn't hide anything. I put it right there. That's how the real world works.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
Welcome to the real world. This is how the real world works. You are accountable for what you do.
Yeah, or don't do and hide and bob and weave and so on and so forth.
Whether it's a employed position or a volunteer position, once you take that position, you are responsible for doing what you have agreed to do.
Yeah.
And so, if you don't even try or you can't get it done, then someone else needs to do it.
Yeah, and so that's the story on our current president over the 2 years that she's been president, close to 2 years. We're coming up on that mark. We believe she's missed the mark on every single one of her goals. Didn't do a darn thing. Tried, worked a lot of hours, and put forth a lot of energy. Smiled a lot, went on social media a lot, attended multiple meetings. Bottom line, according to the people who have reported to us, who would know, and they would know a lot more than we would, she's lost more members than she gained. And that wasn't put forth.
Yeah.
Now, there is another person running for president. That's Joe RIVES. We went through his qualifications recently. He's an experienced nonprofit leader twice. He was president of the National Association of Branch Campus Administrators, $240 million budget. I think the AANR budget is slightly over $1 million. I think the last I saw.
Right.
Yeah. So he's dealing with $240 million. He does have his doctorate. He's twice the president of the Illinois Association of Institutional Research. He's a school board president, executive committee, Illinois Innovation Network. And here's the big one to me anyway, respected and trusted leader, named the AANR Man of the Year just last year.
Yes.
The AANR Man of the Year in 2025. Also the Illinois Iowa Quad Cities Man of the Year 2015, College Hall of Fame Award 2015. Here's a guy who's been there, done that, and achieved massive success. And the current president, as she stated to me during her campaign, I think it was during the campaign, ran a sales team, a small sales team, and was an HOA president. None of that matters as long as you get the job done. I don't think she has. I don't think she's gotten the job done. I think there are some integrity issues there. And Joe RIVES appears to be highly respected. I don't know him that well, You think being in Florida, maybe we'd know him better. No, we don't.
Yeah, we
He and
don't.
I have never met in person. We've never sat down for coffee or lunch. But this guy is highly qualified. And we're just putting it out there. We report, you decide, as some of the networks say.
Exactly.
Lisa Monroe, any final comments?
I do have a final comment because on several occasions, even on our show and at the meetings, the current president has led with AANR is in trouble. I'm going to paraphrase here. I don't remember the exact words. AANR is in trouble. Their 100th anniversary is coming up. And if something isn't done, this organization will not be here for that 100th anniversary. And that's been a comment that's been out there. That is not what this organization needs. This organization needs the leadership that's going to get them to that 100th anniversary. And, if you're already acknowledging that it's going downhill, then something needs to change to get it in the opposite direction. And it's not happened in the last 2 years.
Yeah. So we invite you to check that out. And you look at the current president's record, what she has done and has not done. And then you look at the record of Joe Rivas, what he's done during his career, including his work with AANR. Apparently was good enough to be the AANR Man of the Year last year. And when you compare the records, it's pretty obvious that one is substantially better and far more successful than the other. But it's your vote, which to me,
Exactly.
I still want to confirm this. I haven't gotten the confirmation yet. It's supposed to be May 15th, the window opens, and it opened April 15th with no announcement. Just, by the way, the window's open. Is that to quickly get it through before information came out? I don't know. We're not part of the inner workings of that organization. But we do support AANR. We want to make that very clear. Eric, we support you, the office staff, the trustees, the region presidents.
We always have.
The directors. We support the organization. This was all about the presidency, which is kind of influential as to how AANR will proceed over the next 2 years. And Lisa Monroe, before we head for the hills, any final comments?
Yes, I just want to say this. This is a campaign year. As our listeners, and especially those who are AANR members or who choose to want to be an AANR member, take a look at both of these candidates and make your decision. But look at them logically for what's best for the organization.
Well, there you go. All right, Lisa Monroe, if you promise to stay in your current attire until Saturday, we'll have you back for 189. Is that a deal?
And I'll be here in the same attire, which is none, okay?
All right, we'll see you then.
Okay, take care, everyone. Goodbye.
The very terrific Lisa Monroe. Remember a few weeks ago, she did a John Travolta little dance move as she was leaving? Well, this time she said she was going to imitate Olivia Newton-John from her video Physical, the song Physical, way back, was that the 80s? Way before we were born. Lisa Monroe went retro today, so I guess that was Olivia Newton-John. She's out of the studio now, so I can pretty much say whatever I want and not have to pay the price till the show is over. But I'll just say this and move on so I don't get in trouble. What a terrific dancer. What a joy to have around here. She just loves life, smiles, laughs, dances, drinks coffee, brings me coffee. And we appreciate Lisa Monroe very much. Well, as always, we want to hear from you. You have some new information now. Joe Rivas running for president of the American Association for Nude Recreation. What do you think? What are your thoughts on everything that we talked about today and have been talking about? You can write to us at nakedforevermore@gmail.com. You can hit us up on our website. There's a place to leave comments and ask questions, nakednudistandnaturist.com. You can find us on Twitter, on Blue Sky, our Patreon page, our Spotify page, our YouTube page. There are so many ways to get a hold of us. Just choose your best one, your favorite one, and go for it. We'd love to hear from you early and often. We'd also like to remind you, interpreted as beg and ask permission and please from you, Go on Spotify, Apple, however you're listening to the show right now. Just be sure to like the show, give us the highest rating possible, and that's to offset the nefarious characters who on purpose went in and gave us the lowest rating possible just over the last month or so. A few did it early in the show days back in 2023, and we know who they are. And now a bunch more people did it recently, and we know who they are. And maybe one of these days we'll expose them for what they're really all about. They talk about, oh, I love naturism, oh, I love AANR, and can't we all get along, and so ethical. And then they do hateful things. And so we might expose them one of these days. But in the meantime, if you would not mind liking, reviewing, subscribing, giving us a 5 rating, we would appreciate that very much. Well, we do thank you very much for being with us today, episode 188, the 40th straight Wednesday, 188 overall. And on the next 2 Saturdays, including this coming Saturday, episode 189, our special guest will be Dan Hawkins, also known as D.H. Jonathan. That's his pen name. He's a writer. He's a naturist fiction writer, but he writes in other genres as well. And he's also the president of AANR Southwest. So Dan Hawkins, under his pen name D.H. Jonathan, but we know him as Dan Hawkins, he will be on the show the next 2 Saturdays, 189 and 191. So again, we thank you for being with us today on episode 188. We'll see you on Saturday morning, bright and early, ready to go. Well, you've been listening to Naked, Nudists, and Naturists, episode 188 today. We give you a brand new show every Saturday morning, 6 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time, and on most Wednesdays, 12 noon Eastern Time. Continue to join us. Check us out on our website, nakednudistandnaturist.com, Spotify, Google, Amazon/Audible, Apple Podcasts, and also on Twitter. You can write us anywhere, anytime, any place. And we thank you for being with us today. Plan to join us for every single one of our shows here and have your clothes off when you're listening. We have our clothes off when we're broadcasting, enjoying the naturist life.
We celebrate clothes-free living for all. Remember to enjoy being naked and join us again for Naked, Nudists, and Naturists.
We drop a brand new show every Saturday morning, so come back and join us. Have your clothes off when you do for Naked, Nudists, and Naturists. Have a great clothes-free day.